Hello, everyone. I'm Roswell Slory, and welcome to the fall edition of Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Roswell Slory. Happy to be back. Season number 3 of Live with members of Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata from all around the world. Thank you, Facebook, for giving me another opportunity to do this. This is an opportunity for dancers, orders, DJs, all this to go live with me this fall and to tell you guys a little bit more, know about their career journey, their aspirations, their motivations, what made them who they are, and so much more. You know, my philosophy is that it's one thing to look at a flyer and to see something printed about an event, but it's a total different ball game when they actually go live with me and talk. We really get to know them and we really get to appreciate them. I do. So need to better promote themselves to you. We're having such a views. This is our first week. We kicked it off in California with Armando Bro opening on Monday. And yesterday from Miami Beach, Marcos. Thank you so much. You did a great job. My good friend and someone that I respect a lot, Mr. Paul Roberts. He's in Orlando. He's going to pop on. And I appreciate him taking time out of his busy schedule to in the future. October is coming up and we have so much more. I mean, there's Kimberly Dance, Janet, Fanny Salsa is going to be here. Daniel Collins. There's so many more of cool folks who love to going live with me this September and October, and I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed. Before I Mr. Roberts out, I just have a couple a couple quick. I came back home to New York City. I've been here since June, as everyone knows. I take care of my mom, and she's not well, and we had to come see his Alzheimer's is getting bad. So decided to bring my mom back with me from Atlanta. So we've been here for an entire summer. We're gonna and sometime in November we're gonna head back down south, most likely in Georgia. So I'll be down south for the winter, and I plan to come see all my friends from Cool Folks in Florida and Georgia. So I'm happy to be here, and it's great to be back home. So thank you. Oh, guess what? I got a job offer. Okay, just found out today. As everyone knows, I grew up with G.I. Joe, He-Man, GoBots, and all of these stuff. Hasbro, Mattel. So Hasbro has offered me a legal remote position. So it's my second two jobs remotely reviewing contracts for patent and trademark infringement and legal stuff on behalf of the corporate offices of Hasbro. I don't have to go into Rhode Island, so they offered to have me. So this is great. I get to travel more, spend more time with my mom, events. So thank God, So Paul. So because I know he has a lot of stuff to do tonight, and let me stop talking. Okay. So Paul, can you kindly come on up? I mean down with us. I'm sorry.
There we go.
Up, down.
Yes, I'm here.
Paul, I just want
awesome, Roswell. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I want everyone to know real quickly. One of the main reasons I decided to bring you on is not because you're Mr. Paul Roberts and you're well known and blah blah blah. You did something for me that I will forever remember. And you know about this. I never met Paul. Okay, I mean he was a member of Cool Folks for a while, but it was like virtual. I see his postings and stuff. So it was New Year's Eve. Okay, check this out, guys. It was my first time going to Georgia. Okay, whatever. And, I was like a little sad, a little depressed, thinking about my mom, my dad, all of this stuff, New Year's Eve and whatever. So I decided at the last minute to put my mom in a car, drive down with me to Orlando to hang out in a hotel and just ring in the New Year's with her, just watch television, just get away from everything mentally. Listening, my mom is like, it's New Year's Eve. Come on, that's... All of a sudden, Paul just put a reminder about his event, New Year's Eve, and I said to my mom, I don't know this guy, but my mom was like, go. I mean, what this goes, So I think I called Paul or I texted him, I don't know. I was driving to his event. Okay, now let me remind everyone, I did not meet this guy. I did not ask him. I did it to New York. I'll be there in 2 minutes. He decided to have me, okay, and New Year's Eve I caught, but it's a big one. To put me on his guest list at the last minute and stuff, and I mean went so. I tell everyone how happy and I feel to. Remember, I mean, I've known people in the dance industry for many years, and I still have to beg to please put me on your guest list a year ago. 1, 2, 3. So it tells me a lot about him. He's not only a businessman, but he's a good-hearted man. Okay. So I'm bringing him on for many reasons, but that's the main reason, and he knows it because I've been on his back for months now. Paul, you got to go live with me. You just got to. Okay. So that's a little relationship history. Paul, I'm sure there's more to it than what I told people about how I know you. So please tell people, can you please?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Once again, thank you, Roswell. I know you've been very patient, and we've been trying to schedule this for a while, and different things have come up, but it's nice to finally be on here. I really appreciate what you do to take time and manage the page that you do on Facebook, which gives this open platform for people to share what they have going on, and all the support that you've given promoters and instructors and DJs, like you said, to have a voice and be able to talk about what they do and about themselves as well. So it's really cool to have a platform like this to be able to come on and share a little bit of my history and what I have going on. And one of the things that I'm coming up on 8 years, an 8-year anniversary for running my O-Town social here in Orlando. And some of them have been New Year's Eve socials, and some of them haven't, because I only do the social 4 times a year, whenever there's a 5th Saturday. And like you said, respect and whatnot. When I first started doing this social, all 4 Saturdays were occupied by different dance groups or dance organizations. And that was one thing that I didn't want to do, was try to create something on the same night that other people already had a dance event to go to, because I didn't want to segment the community or make it to where people had to feel like they had to make a choice to be a part of what I was doing. So somehow I came up with this idea to do a 5th Saturday social, because they only come around 4 times a year. So that was something where I didn't have to do something on a monthly basis, but I could still provide something that I was passionate about to the community. And so one of the big things that I always did was, if you noticed at the door, my guest list is very long. It takes up a whole page, and there's been names on there, people that I knew that were either dance instructors or that were performers, high level performers, or organizers of other events, and their names have been on my list for years. Even though they might only come once a year, they just know that they can always come there, and all the people that supported me and helped me along the way. Then I made that as something where I thought, for one, these are some of the best dancers in the area, and throughout Florida. So it's great to have them there for people who are just learning to dance, or that might not be involved from a professional level, but they'll have great dancers to dance with. And these are some of the people that, showed up, that gave me advice, that said yes when I asked them to come and do a performance. And so that was always a way for me to show my appreciation for all the hard work and effort, because I know from experience how difficult it can be, how much time it can take to organize an event, or how much time it takes to put into a 6-month-long performance, to prep and train people, and while still teaching normal classes as well. So I'm coming up on this January, it'll be 16 years since I took my first Latin dance class. And real quick, I got very hooked on the dance scene, the community, the type of people that I got to hang out with, the wonderful benefits from a social aspect, the wonderful benefits of health, and the great relationships, mental health wise, for the community as well, to feel like they have somewhere where they can feel like they're a part of a group, like they belong, and that they have other people that are doing the same thing that they love as well.
Okay, 16 years. Oh my God, I didn't know that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time, bro.
Yeah.
Especially in this world. I mean, the competition and stuff. That's 16 years. I don't. Oh.
And dance has given me a wonderful opportunity for many years. I taught up to four times a week for many years, both here and in Tampa. It gave me the opportunity to perform all over the United States. I even had opportunities to perform in Spain. I took a long trip, a 7-month trip through Southeast Asia, and I got to teach classes and perform in Thailand, in Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines. So that was a really fun experience, and dance was something that I brought along that trip with me as well. And it was something that it was good to visit another country and still see that you have this camaraderie with people who, love bachata or love salsa and love the whole Latin culture.
Okay. I'm just kind of curious, like white bachata. But I mean, there's so much stuff out there. I mean, how come you kept it through so long? Let's think about it. You have like line dancing, you have disco, you have
Sure.
so much going on. How bachata? I
Yeah.
mean, was it by choice? Was it just by chance? Was it just like
Bachata was really new at that point when I first started dancing. Even at the socials, you know, you might get 2 bachata songs in an entire night full of
mm,
salsa and merengue or cha-cha.
mm,
So for me, it was something that was up and coming. It was a good way for me to find a way to make my name
mm,
for myself and be a part of something that was not already so set in stone with instructors. There was some room for growth there. And it was a way for me to express a little bit more of what I liked from Latin dancing, which
mm,
was the kind of the connection. Also, bachata songs had more, in my opinion at the time,
mm.
more musicality to it. There was moments of slow, down-paced, you know, timing. Then there could be moments of fast timing as well. So that was something that really drew me to bachata more than other dance styles. But I still, my first 6 months to a year was all salsa. When I started Latin dancing, and there were points too. You know, I took a little break for a while from dancing after I stopped teaching, and I explored other dances, even country two-step and West Coast swing, which is another one I really like. Modern songs, a little bit of a slower pace to it, and a totally different timing. So it was challenging and something new and exciting. And I still look at other dance styles even now. I've gone to some country and Western events here recently and got to see some of those type of dances. And it's cool to see just all the different varieties of dance and be able to enjoy them as well.
Yeah, they say dance saved you. Like when I interviewed, let's see, Melody and Miguelito from Arkansas back in the summer. I mean, Miguelito mentioned how dance saved him, you know, and that I said to myself, I could, okay, just I could relate to that. Paul,
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't get into this bachata stuff because it's fascinating and it's a way to. I got into it because it saved me from going 6 feet under.
Yeah.
All right, I was hours telling you this. I was in a relationship. You know, I was in a relationship with a Latin person, and it didn't really work out, and it was bad, like really bad, after 8 years. And I said to myself, you know, hitting the big 40, you know, no kids, no family, you know, it's just like, so I was one of those people. I forced it to work. You know, when you force a
Mm-hmm.
relationship to work, that's bad. It ended up bad. It ended up
Very
so
true.
bad that I was literally about to, like, you know, really take one night. And guess what
Yeah.
saved me, bro? Guess what saved me 9 years ago? Um,
Yeah.
Aventura. It was one of the songs. I never, you know, I'm not, you know, I never had an appreciation for Latin music, Dominican music, and whatever. But I was so bitter, so angry, and so hurt by my relationship. And I said, "This is not me. This is not Roswell. I don't like to be. I don't like to feel bad." And so let me just switch my taste of music. No more American music. Playing around with the radio, and then he heard, like, I think it was Aventura and whatever. I didn't understand anything they were singing, but for some odd reason, I felt it. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
like I felt it. I felt it. I mean, I didn't. I up to this day I don't understand what they're singing about or anyone is singing about. You know, like bachata. But I felt it and I feel it and I will feel it. So to make a long story short, that, and due to, you know, like legal reason, I can't like mention it on there. But due to the song, it saved me as to why I'm still here with my mom. You know, it saved me from
Yeah.
not, you know, like going on there. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying, bro?
Sure. Yeah, no, when I found Latin dance, a good friend of mine introduced it to me. He had been going to classes for a while, and I was in a similar
Okay.
situation. I had a relationship that ended, you know, and I was just sitting on the couch and moping and not doing anything, you know, healthy at the point to help myself.
Okay.
And so when I started dancing, then that was something where I felt like, okay, this is something that I feel I'm good at. I feel that I'm learning. It's giving me a reason to get out of the house and go be social and open back up, you know, to the idea of a relationship or even, you know, just in some emotional way, kind of be able to have some closure and put the relationship that I had into the past, you know, because there was this new thing that I could be addicted to instead of some other things, you know, that weren't healthy for me. So, and definitely teaching for a long time, you know, like I said, teaching 4 days a week, and then that's you know, several hours of regular classes. But then after that too, then there's another 2 hours of team training. So where we, you know, put them through an exercise program as well. So it was very good for my health, my energy. It was good for, you know, relationships and for keeping my idle hands occupied with something that was going to be, you know, a very positive thing in my life.
Yeah. So you can relate what I mean by saved. Okay, so that's great. I didn't know that. You see, this is one. This is exactly my point. This is one of the reasons I wanted to bring you and everyone else on with me. So you know, so we can share these stories, because maybe by you and I talking about it, people listening to you, maybe you're saving a life right now. You know what I'm saying?
They get introduced into dance and they go into it more, then I'm sure that, you know, I hope that would be, you know, a great thought about what you're doing and all these other people who've come on here. And if it, you know, if they see enough interviews and people who are saying, hey, you know, I've been through some things too, and this was a great outlet for me to be able to be expressive, to find community, to feel like you're a part of something. Those things are important for mental health, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Plenty of people in the dance industry that are mental health professionals, or other doctors or people in that kind of arena, and they've had a lot of those same things, you know, said to them as well.
Yes. Well said, man. Well said. Okay. O-Town? O-Town. Now you have to tell. You know, when I did my master's in sociology, names and titles and stuff just fascinates me. O-Town, bro. How did you? Why not L-Town or P-Town or Roswell Town or Paul Roberts? O-Town. They got to be a logic
Gotcha.
thing. Here's the logic, man.
So I was born and raised in the Orlando area, and that term O-Town has kind of been like a slang to say Orlando. So it was actually a good friend of mine, DJ Suave Beats. He's from yeah, he was, you know, he was a really big bachata DJ and salsa DJ in Orlando for a long time before he moved out to Vegas. And he was wanting some help to have a way to, you know, be able to express his music and still be a DJ, and because he was kind of getting out of the scene at that point. But he thought, Paul, you know, I've had this idea of a name for a long time and calling it the O-Town Social, because then it wasn't a part of any actual dance school or organization. It could be separate by itself. And since it was going to be located in Orlando, then the O-Town Social, it clicked with me. And I said, yeah, man, that sounds like a really cool name. I think I could, you know, see working with that. And after looking, because I'm in the IT profession, that's what my bachelor's degree is in information technology. And I was building websites, you know, at the time. And I was like, okay, so let me do some search and see, other than the dance group called O-Town, then there wasn't really anything, or the singing group O-Town. There was a boy band, you know, that used O-Town as their name. But other than that, there wasn't anything dance related. There wasn't a large amount of internet traffic that would stop me. The website was available, O-Town Social. So I kind of ran with that.
I like it, O-Town. Okay, I like it. It's very creative and unique. Oh, Suave Beats, as you know, like twice. So, and he's a great guy. You know, he's always telling me,
yeah,
like,
he is.
Yeah, he's always telling me, Ross, well, you got to come to Las Vegas. I'm like, I never, you know, I haven't. I've been traveling on Italy, but Las Vegas,
Yeah.
and that, so he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Mm.
He's very
Yeah.
nice. He posts a lot, he's a great.
And he also does some live streams from there that his DJ sets get used for socials here in Orlando still.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
cool.
yeah, he's done a lot of cool things in that space, and I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Just like you're also a great guy,
I appreciate that.
I want to ask you something about you're from Orlando. Okay, born and raised, right? Born and raised from.
Yeah, I was born in Daytona Beach, but we moved to Orlando area when I was 2.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, 16 years ago. So when you entered the dance world, specifically bachata and stuff, I know things changed over the years. I was just I was talking to Marcos last night, how bachata stuff exploded. It's in China, it's in Australia, Russian. I mean, it's all over the place. You are a witness to that. You can actually that you've witnessed it throughout the years, not throughout the days, throughout the years for 16 years. So let me ask you a truthful question. Compared to many years ago, how has the bachata industry expanded and grown? Orlando, ever imagine years ago it would ever be, what's your experience? How do you feel about that? How do you feel that that you're part of that? You're part of that growth. And it's a good feeling, I mean, so I don't know. How do you feel about that? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, I think it's something I've definitely over the years have been, fortunate that I came in kind of as it was starting to expand, but there was still for a while, Orlando was really considered like the place to go if you wanted to dance bachata, because it was being played more at socials. It was being it started actually to have its own ballrooms during major events, which was really cool. And the amount of performances and performance teams really, really grew. So that's something that I think it gave, and in some degrees, depending on how intense of a performance it is, it can be something that's maybe a little bit more of a gateway for people to get involved in dance. In some aspects, people, might say that bachata is easier to start learning if you're brand new to dance versus, salsa or cha-cha. So it being a little easier to get involved kind of might open up the door as a gateway to get more involved in dance. And so being a part of that and putting a lot of effort into it, not only here, but traveling down to Tampa to help grow that community as well. Especially over the first, 6 to 7 years when I was, teaching and performing and traveling, it was very rewarding to see. It was really nice to have, students that, still I know come up and meant, you were my first bachata instructor, and I've stuck with it ever since. Something like that is rewarding to me as well. It's something definitely that I'm proud of, all the effort and time and energy that, and sometimes heartache that was put into it. It was something that affected other people and made their life happier. And that's, and I really enjoyed teaching too. That's always been something that I liked, a way to share knowledge, a way to explain things maybe a little differently here and there that help it click in someone's head. And maybe they get a move that they didn't really get before just because of the way I could explain it different than someone else,
Well, it's good that you mentioned that, the click stuff. Then I want to ask you about this. That comes to your class, bro. Maybe a beginner or maybe someone that is one of those I think I know everything. I'm just your class with this expectation that okay, Mr. Roberts is going to teach his stuff, but I already know my stuff. So you're this gal, right? They're in your class and you see they're resistant, right? They're resistant what you're showing them. I mean, they're not being disrespectful or loyal or what or disloyal or whatever, but you can see that even though what you're doing, they're it takes for them to maybe not absorb but accept. And I know I'm one of those people. Before I entered bachata world, I used to do tango and disco and all that stuff. I was so stubborn. It took a long time for me to open up my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bachata, so I'm sure there's other Roswells that came to your classes, but then again, they're good, they're not bad, they're not evil. So in a situation like that, like you just said, you did the finger stuff. You work with that person or that individual. You don't want to discourage them, right? You don't want them to feel that. You know what? If you go somewhere else to get out, you're a teacher, can't do. But then again, you want them to feel welcome. You don't want them to feel that they have to forget everything their dances, but they need to open up a little piece of their brain to listen to what you're saying, because it could help them in the future. So tell us about an example. Like, what do you do an example like that? How can you do that?
I think you're right on with it. It can be a fine line to balance on, to not hurt somebody's feelings or make them feel like they're doing something wrong. I think being open about expectations. Also, I always found a little comedy really kind of made the class go smooth. Throwing a joke here or there about something. But definitely, in a lot of cases in the past, the class would be preempted with hey, this is not necessarily the only way to teach. This is not necessarily the only way to do a certain movement. This is just the way that we teach it. And it's not saying that you have to change or modify what you're doing, but you can try it and see how you like it. And maybe you'll find that you get a better response from your follow, if it's a leader, or that the follow might feel less, say, pain during some movements if they try to adapt and make some minor changes, because this dance also has evolved so much, and there are a lot more intricate movements now than there were in the beginning, especially from how it came from even the Dominican Republic. So incorporating these other dance styles, like you see a lot of fusion of different dance styles where the movements from something like Zouk or whatever, they get added into movements for bachata. And if they're not done in a safe way, then it can be something that can, manipulate joints or hurt wrists or injure people's backs. So safety, comfort, a lot of acceptance, and a lot of discussion around making sure that you're being always protective of who you're dancing with on both sides was a large portion of what was discussed during the classes,
Right. I'm happy you mentioned
foundation.
You
got to go through steps 1 through 4 before you can jump right in on 5. And there was stipulations and there was things put in place where even when I first started learning salsa, there was level 1 through 4 during that first hour and level 5 through 8. And you didn't get to go from level 1 to level 2 until you tested out with, one of the instructors. So having those things in place where it gave you a moment to not say something to somebody in an open environment where they might feel embarrassed. Mm-hmm. But if they go, hey, I'm ready to move to level 2, and you say, okay, come over here real quick and let's do this, then you're off by your side. And it's just you, as a coach, you and that person one-on-one, where you can mention maybe some things that you thought needed to be improved on instead of calling somebody out like in the middle of class,
Yeah, true. And this is one of the reasons a couple of weeks ago I was thinking about not only bringing on dancers, organizers, DJs, from Kufoto to Bachata, but who can relate and share their profession to the dance world. Like you just said, you gave the contents of fusion and the importance of how to actually do something correctly, and you can damage a joint. So I was thinking about maybe bringing a chiropractor or someone like with a medical background,
Yeah.
to kind of continue with, where you left off here, and
Hmm.
but of course I have to get permission from social media and sign legal liability stuff,
Sure.
but
Yeah. You got to
but
be
it's
careful
good that
with that.
it's good that you mentioned that, because that is one of the things I'm trying to accomplish, hopefully before the year is
Hmm.
out there. But it's good that you mentioned that, because it's very important to know. It's important to know, Paul, that it's not only, dance is just not dancing and, jumping around and whatever. There's a way to do it. There's a how to do it and when to do it, right?
Yes.
When.
So that you're staying
Not
safe
why,
and
how and when.
you're taking care of each person. So there's the connection there, but there's also, there's a high level of the possibility for injury if things are, if you're not respecting boundaries and you're not uh, listening to, dancers' indications. So we taught a lot about indications of whether or not somebody wants to accept a close embrace, or whether they want to keep it, or at a distance, or slowly, testing out someone's abilities in a dance before, not in the first few bars go throw out a triple spin when you haven't even tried a single spin yet,
Right.
So those kind of things were taught quite often. Dance etiquette was a big portion of it as well. Safety and so those were things we thought about too. And there's some good guys and organizations that are a part of the dance industry that got created for that, like the Mob. Don, the Don from the Mob.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with him when he was first setting up the Mob, and we went over a lot of these things, and they've taken that from a safety aspect, from giving a voice to the dancers to say, what it is that they need from some of these large events, and having a safe place to, for both leads and follows to discuss things, or the community in general to make it safer for everybody.
No, I'm happy that you mentioned that. And it's great to remind everyone that, there's some type of literature that goes behind dancing. There's some type of history. There's like music appreciation. We go like dance
Yes.
appreciation, bachata appreciation. So you're touching on a lot of points as to why I'm doing these interviews with you guys. So you guys are not only coming live with me to talk about your promotions and your career journeys, but talk about a little bit more deeper stuff that can protect someone as they enter the dance world, and how to be a little bit more conscious what they're doing and how they're doing it. So
Agreed.
you got a lot of points here, bro. You touched on a lot of points here, which I appreciate. Kids, children,
Yes.
it's a good time to bring that up. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. When I was young, I'll tell you this real quickly. My family's from Guyana. As everyone knows, I'm West Indies. My family's from Guyana, and it was just like near Brazil. So I'm half Brazilian, half West Indies. So when my parents first migrated to this country in the '70s, they were like, my dad was like super strict. Like, what, dancing, music? Not in this house. Law, medical, business in this house. So I was terrified. I was like, oh God, I got to take the arts away from me. So throughout my lifestyle, deep in my heart, Paul, I knew I wanted to do dance. I wanted to do this. I wanted to open up, blah. But in my mind, I kept thinking that, yeah, my dad made this right. I don't want to suffer out there, compete, and, and especially in New York. And, so go to school, get my master's, do the doctoral, do the legal stuff, then do what my heart said. But a child in today's society, things are a little bit more different. Things that parents are open and whatever. So if a kid comes up to you, bro, right now, maybe they will after this interview, and sir, that's serious, even if it means I'm going to leave home. I'm dead serious about professional dancer. And you of all people, 16 years, you should know that. You can tell if that kid is really to his or her word. And they are.
Yes.
So what advice are you going to tell a little one, man?
Yeah, it's good. To preface that, one thing that I did have the opportunity to do while I was teaching full time was an after school program for the Boys and Girls Club. And so it was held at a school through one semester or season, and that the idea was to help them for this after school program have a way to do something if they weren't interested in being out on the field and playing sports, and they wanted something more art related. So I saw that as a really cool opportunity to give back to the community and be a part of something that I thought would be very good for kids. And it was really cool. It was a great experience, I think, for me as well as them. And at the end of the experience, it was several, like 4 or 5 different schools that all did it. And then they hosted a performance for the kids so that they got to go and actually, they bust them in on buses and they got to show off what they learned through that time. So I think that having, schools also consider dance as being a part of something that can be taught even during school versus just after school programs is a great start. Obviously, having things that are more financially accessible for children that don't have parents who can afford putting them into, private lessons or ballet lessons. But some of the best dancers that we had throughout the years that joined our teams were people who had a dance history of tap or ballet or jazz or hip hop. They grasped the more intricate things faster than people who hadn't had any exposure to it. So I would say that if somebody came up to me and they were a younger person and said, hey, this is what I really want to do, try to see in their area what programs might be available for them. Look into things that might help their parents have better access to something like that, and be open and honest with their parents as well. Obviously, if you're young and you're still living under your dad's house like you were, and he's not about you doing anything dance involved, there's going to be some pushback there from your parents. So you still got to listen to your parents until you're at a position to where you can, do something for yourself. I was lucky. My 2 of my best friends that I grew up with, they're from Bolivia, and their family, I've known them since I was 10 years old. And so I grew up listening to, or seeing the Spanish culture, the Latin culture, learning how to dance merengue when I was young, eating all the wonderful food, listening to, early bachata artists and Latin music. And I always had that as a part of my childhood from the time I was 10 on. And so I think that's good too, would be look at exploring other cultures and how they are, educate yourself about them, and be open to other cultures and maybe some of the, traditional things that they have to offer.
This is so true. I appreciate you're saying that. I mean, and one of the reasons I want my audience to listen to this, because I'm praying that 99% of them could be the young ones, and they could just listen to what you just said, and that can help them. Back in my days, bro, I didn't, I can't remember anyone going live and asking people to give advice to kids and stuff. I mean, I wish this was in the 70s, way back, and things have changed now, so
yeah,
by me doing this, and having you doing this, this will help in the little ones.
Of course. Yeah. The outlet, the communication,
yes,
that's open through social media platforms now, and things like this, YouTube and educational platforms is definitely a lot greater than what either of us had growing up,
Yeah. I don't want to keep you too long, because I know you have like you have some other stuff to do, but I want again on how you open up this interview with one of my favorite topics for you, on how the dance community can better support one another. You started out the interview by talking about that, and I would like us to end the interview with that. So, Paul, sir, my famous Roswell example for you. Okay. It's a Saturday night. It could be a major city. It could be New York. It could be Paris, Orlando. I don't know, wherever. Okay. 5 of the top organizers, they live within 5 miles radius of each other. They're best friends. They grew up together, whatever. Saturday night to have events back to back within 5 miles radius, and we all have to decide, like, we're going to go. I don't know, John, again, you got Stacy, Rashid, okay? So they're having a Saturday night, and you, I, my friends, we have to decide, like, who we're going to go support, how long we're going to stay. Like me, bro, shot to Facebook, and they know I'm in town. So I have to go, I have to hang out. But then again, I got to take Uber. I got to go uptown, hang out by Rashid for like a half an hour. Then I got to take Uber, go downtown, hang out there for like 4 hours. Then it's Stacy, go back up with my bicycle, hang out at her event for 2 minutes. I don't want her to get mad at me. Then Kim. Then I had to hang out there and blah, blah. I'm half awake.
Right.
So what's up with that? So I guess my point to you is that in a perfect world, how could these 5 amigos, 5 friends, I know they got bills to pay, and they got contracts, legal stuff. There's good stuff, that we all, they have to. But then Monday comes. This is what aggravates me. Monday comes, right, and they're doing their accounts, right, their billings or whatever. I'm not an accountant, but check this out. Each one of them realize 99% of the money they dished out, they're only getting like 2%. So if Kim puts like $10,000 for the DJ, the workshop, and whatever, she realized only like 4 people showed up, and she's only getting $52 in profit. And it happened to the 4th. But then again, they do it again next month, next year, and another. So my question to you, Mr. Robert, how can something be prevented? Because I don't know how the world is. They know what they're doing, or maybe ego. I have no idea, bro. I'm asking you because. So take it away.
Sure. Well, I think you started off with talking about different cities, and I think it varies wildly from cities. The size of the community, the size of, the overall population in certain areas, and just understanding the amount of support that's going to be, that are people that are supporting that community. Some of the smaller cities like Gainesville around here, even though it's a college town, they don't have enough people that are interested that can support 2 events on the same night. And so in that case, there are some situations where I've seen in the past where those people get together and they go, and that's how it was in Orlando, like I'm saying, for a long time. And it's still, I think we're very lucky. It's very rare for us, even during the week, to have, especially if it's dancer focused, because there's plenty of, just Latin cantinas that have, throw a couple salsas here and there in between the reggaeton, and they might have, plenty of events that fall on the same night across the town, because they're separated so far that there's enough people to support it. But when it comes down to people who are actually in classes that are wanting to go for an event, like a Latin focused dance where they know they're going to get 4 salsas and then 4 bachatas and then a couple of kizombas and back through those, and maybe 1 or 2 cha-chas a night. And it's focused towards dancers with good air conditioning, with, a decent floor, plenty of space, that kind of thing. Then there's it's rare for us around here to have multiple events that are happening on the same night. Or there's been major dance organizations that have held this specific night for so long that nobody else wants to try to even put up an event on the same night and compete with them, because this has been the spot for 5, 6, 7 years on, every fourth Saturday it's here. And every Friday there's something there. And so I think it's good for the organizers in the area to be really respectful of each other. And that's what I tried to do, especially by doing something on a fifth Saturday, which is something that nobody had done. And it's rare for me to have an event that happens on a fifth Saturday, unless it's like a major event down in Miami or something like that, because of a holiday weekend. But I think good communication has been a really good backbone. Respect has been very good. And I think if you look at the population and the amount of people are there, like you said, if they're making good business decisions, they're going to look at the fact that they're trying to throw an event on the same night as 4 other people, and it's not going to work out financially for them. And then they're not going to be able to do it very long. There's been plenty of places, that were a Wednesday night or a Thursday night. They popped up for 6 months, and then, there wasn't enough food ordered. There wasn't enough drinks ordered. So the restaurant shut it down. That kind of thing happens. But I think the other thought to that has to be as well that really looking at the total numbers of people who are available and seeing, having respect for the people who might have had an event prior to you, or communicating even between people. Hey, instead of us splitting forces and having people go in different directions, why don't we do something together? Like I've done that on several situations, including the New Year's Eve, where instead of somebody hosting a big New Year's Eve that is a friend of mine and someone I know, instead of hosting it down in Tampa, we said, why don't we just do it together? You bring your Tampa people, I'll do the Orlando people, and overall everybody will have a better time because we're not splitting the community on such a major night, So I think that's been beneficial as well.
I like that idea, collaboration, bringing everyone together and stuff.
And then people have such a great time all in one space without like the travel time in between, like you said, then they feel like, hey, I got to have a better experience. And the one last point I want to put to that too, and I think this is something that can, that might not be as much of an issue in the dance communities anymore, but I know it was in the past, where one studio bad mouths other studios and says, oh, no, you don't want to go to any other studio. You don't want to learn from anybody else. If you're one of our students, you need to be loyal to us. And they try to promote this whole loyalty thing. And I'm not going to mention any studio names or anything like that, but I know it was very prevalent in the past where students would almost feel bad if they went to another facility or location to take classes with multiple people. And that was something that was always promoted at the classes that I was involved in. Hey, go take classes with multiple people, get a better understanding. You might learn something there that you weren't able to learn here. Open up open up the amount of people that you can learn from, and it's only going to help the whole community grow, instead of trying to segment people and segregate them and make them feel like they were going to be chastised if they took classes anywhere other than the studio that where they were at.
That's sad. I'm happy I wasn't around back then, because I would be talking about it and bringing each one of those people live and be like, hey, what's up with that guy? He's saying that about but that's
it was much more prominent in like ballroom studios from what I understand, and there was still a little bit of it, but I think that idea kind of fell off pretty quick. More of an openness to the dance community instead of trying to be closed in.
Okay, that's a very, very good response. I appreciate that. Paul, your events.
Yeah, I have one at the end of the month. It'll be my 8-year anniversary. I'm very excited. The facility I've been at has been great over the years, even through COVID. They were very helpful to me as far as like deposits and everything that I had set up with them to hold multiple dates. They were very gracious with that when they didn't have to be according to contracts. And they've been a huge support with doing things at their facility to make it better for dancers. And they even since you were there, there's a third room that all the way in the back that we had bachata in, but there wasn't air conditioning. But they finally got the air conditioning totally installed in that third space. So that's really cool news for me, because now I can provide, once again, something even better for the community, a better experience for them to have. And it'll help propel things into, this next year, and bigger and better events with, with the ability for me then to share that with the people that I hire, able to, multiple times over the years, I've increased the rates that I pay my DJs. For a long time, performances, especially if they weren't a pro level performance, they were never compensated. But I've always compensated the people who came and taught, and the people who came and promoted the event to bring their team there and perform. I've always paid the performers, or the performers, the people who directed the teams. And I thought that was always something that I wanted to maintain doing. And with this new air-conditioned area now, that's going to allow more people to come, which allows for just better profits to be shared with the great friends and team that I have in place that help me run these events, wonderful DJs and staff and everything.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now, bro?
Yeah, I was even at these past two events that I went to for country and Western dancing. You'd be surprised. There's such a huge community of older people that love that dance, that do that dance, and even still compete, upwards into their 60s. And so I think dance will always have a space for me. Maybe not, tricks and dips and lifts like I did when I was a little younger, but definitely the social aspect of it, and whatever different dance styles that are maybe easier on the joints and the knees and whatnot, to continue to compete and learn. Because I think there's been plenty of studies how dance, because you're using both your thought processes and your body at the same time to do movements or choreography, that it's very good at keeping you from having things like Alzheimer's or memory loss or mental issues. Yeah, there's been some really good studies on that I've read in the past, how dance can help keep away Alzheimer's.
Okay, whoa. Let's talk about that a little bit. Whoa, you caught me by surprise. I didn't know that. My dad's nurse didn't tell me that. But really stuff? It helps. I mean, I know.
It had something. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I know, and it could be something that we share at another point. Maybe even find it and share it on the page. Cool folks who love to bachata, and put it up there. But there were some studies correlated, because it had to do with not just say a crossword puzzle where you're using your brain only, but while you're using your brain and your muscles at the same time to do some type of complicated movements, that it had some type of healing properties and or prevention properties for degenerative brain issues, memory issues, and Alzheimer's.
I didn't know that. No, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I know about the puzzle. You take fish oil, that stuff. I didn't. Okay, so maybe there is hope for me. I don't know, because I just got into bachata because it saved me from killing myself, but I didn't think about it. I don't know. That's good that you mentioned it.
Helping you, stay mentally stable longer.
My God, Paul, you're my very, 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 very new. I'm just kidding.
I appreciate it, man.
My already best friend in
No
Germany
doubt.
beat the crap out of me for saying this live. But okay, you're my second. You're my second best friend. How's
there
that?
you go. Yeah.
No, but seriously, I didn't
Careful.
know that. You called me that. I gotta do some more research. Maybe bring you back.
Check into it.
Maybe bring you back to go live and we talk about that. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You're a good man. I learned that we learned a lot from you. I'm speaking on behalf of everyone. We learned a lot from you. We pre the Alzheimer's stuff. This is super stuff here. Wow. Thank you,
I
bro.
appreciate it.
How you want to leave this? What are some last minute words? How you want to end the show?
Yeah,
Bro?
final thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead. Bro.
Final thoughts is also I have New Year's again this year. It doesn't always fall where New Year's is on a 5th Saturday, so keeps some eyes out for information on that. And feel free to travel from other areas if you wanted to come to Orlando and be a part of that. I would love it. Check out the O-Town Social Facebook page as well as otownsocial.com for any type of information about what events I have coming up and who will be involved. Keep dancing, keep smiling, keep learning, and keep liking the Cool Folks Who Love Bachata page, and keep looking at that for all the great events. Do some traveling, see the world, experience different cultures, different countries if you have the opportunity, because it'll change you. It did me for sure. Get out there, keep living life, and if you got dreams, follow them.
Bro, definitely. When I come back down south for the winter, I'm gonna come to Florida. I'm sure I'm gonna run into you again.
Yes.
Just pop up again. I'm 2 minutes away. But I'm sure I'll see you again. Or when you're in Georgia, let me know. I plan to, at least for the winter, with my mom, so she can see her
awesome
sisters, my sister's kids. So back up here to New York for the spring and the summer. Oh, by the way, when are you planning to come up my way to New York City? Let me know so I can.
Yeah,
people.
It's been a while, but I think since the pandemic, I haven't been back to New York. But I really enjoyed that community and all the different dancers there. It was a lot of fun, for sure. New York's a wonderful place to hang out. So much to do, and definitely if I get back up that way, I'll hit you up.
Yeah, let me know. Even if I'm not here, I could still arrange for people to say hello to you and stuff. Because you're
for sure
a nice guy.
Sure.
Thank you. Please continue posting your stuff like you've been doing all this time. Thank you for doing what you're doing, and please also post the New Year's stuff again, and that, man. Just
I will.
And see it. You're an angel. You're a loyal man, very loyal. I mean, you're very educational. You see this again for the 401 time. I'm saying that this is one of the reasons I decided to do these interviews with you and everyone else, because there's so much more I know about you guys and than I thought I did, and everyone else did, and all the stuff that we learned from you guys. It's helping us. It's helping the world, the community become a better place, man.
I agree. Keep up the good work, sir. As always, I appreciate what you do and running the page. I congratulate you and have highest respect for you taking care of your mom and doing the things that you do for your family. That's very important too. I know how you feel about those things and how important it is to you. So you're very well respected, and it was a pleasure speaking with you tonight.
Thank you. Okay. You have a good night, bro. See you this winter, okay? This winter.
It sounds like a plan.
Have a good night.
I'm out.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, take care.